Good morning. These days I get the same question from many people asking me, how come I'm in Thailand and why was I living in Korea before and why did I choose Koh Samui? Do I like Thailand? And why this life full of travel and how do I manage to do that? Okay, well, let's talk about that. I like to talk about that, so thank you for your question. As you know, I was educated in New Zealand, so after finishing high school, I didn't really finish high school. I wanted to go to university when I was 16, and I had to do like 2 years in one to get into university at the age of 16. So I got into university and I graduated really early. I was only 21. So I had time, kind of, because my friends were like a couple of years older than me. So I thought, well, okay, let's waste this time on travel and learn what the world is like. And I haven't traveled much before that. So, without really having a destination, I got a ticket from Australia to Malaysia and who knows. Ended up in Korea after a month traveling Malaysia, Singapore, Australia, Korea. And I stopped there and thought, well, this is indeed very different in every aspect to where I come from. The weather is different, the people are different, the language is different, the culture is different, the food is different. How exciting! How exciting. So I stayed and I thought, well, maybe it's worth a try just to get the feel of this newness and be able to penetrate the culture and adapt. And it took a lot of inner breaking and adjusting to be able to fit into the culture, to enter the culture. Koreans are not the most foreigner-friendly people, although they are very hospitable and they will serve you well if you're their guest, very well, much better than many other nations. But they wouldn't let you get into their heart that easily. So you have to understand the culture, and I had to learn the culture and learn their ways of behavior, which was very different from what I got taught back in New Zealand. At that time we had 2 female prime ministers in a row, Jenny Shipley and Helen Clark, very ugly, lesbian-looking feminists. And, okay, I shouldn't have said very ugly. They didn't look like women at all. And the whole movement in New Zealand is feminism, that we are as strong as men. We don't need men, we can do everything by ourselves. That kind of dynamic when it's like, don't open the door for me, this is sexual harassment. And yes, lesbians should be able to marry. And I don't have to shave my legs because I'm not there to look pretty. Men don't shave their legs. Like that kind of culture, I guess, teaching. And you get girls at school cutting their hair short and acting all masculine because now we are equal and power to the girls. But not in a good way, not to make the men serve, but to be equal like men and not accept anything from men. And there was so much against my vision. I mean, men are there to serve, and if your boyfriend invites you to watch a movie with him, it doesn't mean that you're Dutch paying. Because, hey, it's my time, I'm giving this precious time to watch a movie with him. He should be thankful, begging me on his knees, please, can we watch the movie? Yet you come, it's like, I'm getting a Coke, you better get your drink. It's like, oh. Anyway, came to Korea, learned from scratch, different language, different culture, lots of breaking, lots of adjusting, upside down. Everything. And then I started to enjoy it. I started to like it because I saw both. I could be both people. If I went back into Western culture, to New Zealand culture, I would feel more or less that I belong. Yet in this culture I felt that I belonged as well because I knew how to behave. I know how to bow to the older person. And I don't do it just because I have to. It's inside me, and I still do it. I still go like this to the older person, no matter what status they hold. I mean, if he's a gardener, I would still go like that because he's older, and age is everything. and the older person pays. Even if I am a year older than my female friend, I would still pay in the restaurant for her, because hey, age is everything. And the first thing you ask a person is their age. I'm not saying that I'm still in that culture. When I'm out, I'm out. When I'm dealing with foreigners, of course I don't bow to them, although it is a habit. So when I see an Asian person, of course I do bow to them. It's in the blood now. But yeah, I behave differently with Westerners and differently with Asians. But when, say last week, was it last week, 2 weeks ago, when the Koreans were visiting, I felt so much in harmony with those people, more than with Thais or Westerners, because that is my extended family, but we're not blood relatives, but it's so much easier to understand how they feel in certain situations. And I intend to achieve that in Thailand as well. What would these people feel in this situation? What would these people feel if I say this, if I do this, if I wear this, if I wear this and go to the bank? What would Thai people think? How rude. A foreigner who doesn't know anything about Thai culture wearing shorts, beach shorts, to a public place. So would I wear this to the bank? No, I wouldn't. Would every other foreigner on the island wear it to the bank? Yes, they would. Why? Because they don't give a fuck. They don't care. Sorry. Okay. Where did we stop? Korea. Yes. With every year spent in that country, I thought, should I go back to New Zealand or not? And the more time I spent in that culture, in that country with Korean people, I felt that that was home. I felt like I belonged. Very comfortable. When I traveled, say to Europe, and I traveled very often, I would not want to stay in the other place. I would want to come back home, because I have people who care about me, and that is not exactly your close friends or your family. These are random people. I know that I cry every time I come to Korean airport, because it feels so much like home. I see people running around like crazy because they are really fast. The slogan of Korea is pali pali, which means fast. You know, like quickly, quickly, quickly. They do everything quickly. You know, they build a house really quickly. They deliver the food quickly in the restaurants, much quicker than in other countries. If Koreans come to Thailand, they get so annoyed because they have to wait for like half an hour from when they order the food until it comes. If that happens in a Korean restaurant, they would walk out after 10 minutes without any nice words, believe me. And I felt like that. And I miss it a lot. I miss it hugely. But why did I make this decision to move out of Korea? Like in any other culture, there is positive and negative aspects. And I've told you about the positive. People are connected, and people are one, and people are one big family, big group. And they feel for each other. They feel each other's trouble, each other's pain, each other's joy. It's a country of unitedness, of unity. Okay, a country of unity where people are more connected than in any other place I've been to. And the negative aspects were that first, they're very competitive. And I have that in me now. When I go picking shellfish on the beach, I look at the plastic bag of every other person who is picking shells as well, and then try to compare it to mine. And when I see there is more shells, I get more competitive and I pick better and faster, and somehow my concentration is improving as well. I am competitive, and I think that was something acquired in Korea, and it's good. And in a yoga class, you know, when you see another girl bending backwards better, that makes me want to practice at home for an extra 2 hours a day, because I want to be as good as her. Not in a negative way, but in a positive way. That is also a strong motivation. I compete with friends too. This is where I find my motivation. When I see my friend and she's more disciplined with her diet, I want to be like her. If she can do it, I can do it. But if she is less disciplined, I slide back to that level because, hey, nobody is more disciplined, so might as well. So I prefer to surround myself with people who are better than me because I try to raise myself to their level. And this is why one of the reasons why I like intelligent people around me who are better at sports, who are good at looking after themselves and who are well educated. Because I want to know, that motivates me to grow. I still didn't tell you why I wanted to leave. Yes, they're very competitive. They're very competitive and they work so hard. Not women, men. Occasionally some women, but mostly men. If a man is successful in Korea, his woman doesn't work. So yes, if you can't make enough money to pay rent and buy food, then your wife has to work. But it's more like she has to. She has no choice because we can't afford living on one salary. It's really sad. And I think that it's good when a woman doesn't work. She is served. How does she spend her time? Well, if they don't have any children yet, or if the children are growing up already, she goes to get a facial, a massage, and some pibukwali, what's that in English? Skincare, and overall massage, maybe hair salon. It's nice. This is what I'm doing here in Thailand too. There's so many services everywhere for women. You don't see that for men. There's manicure, pedicure on every corner. They scrub your feet, scrub your heels for your hair. What else do they do? Pick your ears. Well, it's kind of nothing that I would really do. They do your eyebrows, they do your eyelashes, they give you a facial, they do sort of masks, spa, herb treatment, and so on. The list is endless. You can be so busy with that list. Plus exercise. Plus you got to get your healthy stuff, and to get healthy food, it's not just like, okay, 5 minute drive to the market and get everything. No, you have to go to every places because they don't have certain things like sprouted sunflower seeds. You can only get at Macro, which is on the other side of the island. So you have to drive there and drive to this other place, drive to this next place. Of course, a slave is very useful, but I think that the main purpose of the slave is to work. Be it work, professional work or personal work, but most importantly, professional work. Because that is what supports both people. Now you might say, well, is she saying that she is not willing to work and she thinks that slaves should do everything? Yes, that is exactly what I'm saying. This is not for everyone, and you might think, this is not fair. Who said that the life of a slave is fair? And by slave, I mean husband or boyfriend or partner, whatever you like to call it, the S-type man. Yes, he has to work, and yes, he has to do some things in the house. And if he cannot do it because of work, that is fine. But if he cannot do it because of this is not fair, you should pull your load and you should carry the bag, because I do, go to New Zealand and live there with all the feminists who carry their own bags and don't let you open the door for them or pull a chair up in the restaurant, because that is sexual harassment. Crazy bitches, really crazy. Men are there to make our life comfortable, and we are there to let them make our life comfortable, right? So why deny them this pleasure of making our life more comfortable, pleasant and enjoyable? Exactly. This makes so much sense to me, yet to some girls it doesn't. They want to be the man. They want to be taking care of themselves. They want to be doing everything. So they're independent. Independent what? I'm independent. I have you. Life is more pleasant. You don't need to be doing everything alone. Unless you really enjoy doing it. But if I did everything alone, where would I find time for massages and reading a book on a beanbag and going to Vicasa to enjoy the sea view with a coconut, chatting to friends? And so on. I think my life nightmare. Remember you asked me, again, I'm not talking to you, but I'm talking to one of you, so accept yourself as one. You are part of this one for me, and I'm part of this one too. You asked me a question, where do I see myself in 10 years and 5 years? Well, there's many options. I see this, I see that, that's all good. But the worst scenario possible would be having a job. Having a job would be something I would really not want in my life. Having a job, going, you know, rushing in the morning and, oh, I can't do yoga today, I woke up late because yesterday I had this dinner with the clients at work and I slept late, so don't have time for yoga, don't have time for the beach, don't have time for running or for making a healthy breakfast, so just grab a coffee on the way so it keeps me awake and rush to work to serve other people and then have a compromised meal for lunch of some salad with God knows what sort of quality veggies and salad dressing poured over it because it's already pre-manufactured for all the busy people with office life. Oh, what a drag. I realize myself professionally and build a career being worth something. Worth what? Worth a salary? I don't see the point in working for women when there is you, when there are men. And the world is designed so well with men being there. That it's all taken care of by nature, by Father God and Mother Earth. God made men to work, God made women to enjoy life. And God made women to let men enjoy life by making women's life pleasurable. There's some theory for you. It's another Lena theory that comes out of today's video. What was I talking about? Korea and why I moved to Thailand. Right. So in that sense, Korea is great. Then it gets too comfortable when I know everything and I think, is this the life I want to lead forever? Do I want to be in this house with a beautiful sea view in a 3-bedroom apartment with good connections, good people around me and all the supplies, health supplies delivered and bought in certain places? I know everything. I'm comfortable, very much comfortable. I have my dream car, my dream house, my dream environment and dream friends around me. Is this what I want? And then the catch was climate. Surprised, right? The climate. Because winters in Korea are cold and we get snow. And I didn't want that. And every winter I spent outside of Korea. In Malaysia, Indonesia, Vietnam, Thailand, and wherever else. Taiwan, and so on. China. South of China is good. Hainan Dong. It's probably Hainan Island, right? That's good. Why would I not want to live in a country with all year round summer? Something to consider. And then that thought was planted into my head by myself that I do want to live in a country with summer all year round. Lots of fruit, lots of advantages. I don't like to wear a lot. I don't like to put on boots every day. Not that type of boots, winter boots. No high heels. Practical boots. Why? Because it limits you. You can't do this in a jacket. It's uncomfortable. Especially women's clothes. Women's winter clothes are extremely uncomfortable. The shape. This is what you are. And this is how you move. And if it looks anything like nice, sexy, then it is limiting. And if I like the looks, most likely it's a compromise on the comfortableness. Of course, high heels look much better, but are they comfortable? You try it. Oh, you have tried it. Well, now you know the answer. Okay. Thailand was not the obvious choice. There is Vietnam, but it's difficult to own a property there. Thailand is here. I didn't like Phuket, and Samui was something new. I did not have an intention to live here. It was a winter trip to the nice warm country, to swim in the sea and enjoy the sunlight. And what happened? I didn't want to leave because I had everything I wanted here. Now, what do I like about here? You have the international crowd. You have people from Europe, you have people from America, you have people from Asia, all on one island. Not tourists, but people who live here. And you can talk to them. If you want to speak English, French, Russian or whatever, you can find people of every nationality living on the island. You can learn from them, you can interact from them, you can talk about their culture, their food, their whatever, their views, their ideas. And our friends group is indeed very international. Everybody is from a different place. You get people from Finland, Estonia, Scandinavia, you get people from all sorts of countries. And I like that, it's very exciting. Then Thai people, they have a really good aspect to their culture. The principle of enough. They do not care what car you drive. They do not care what brand clothes you wear. You don't have to show that you have money if you have it. And you don't get judged on the brand of your watch. People are still innocent in that sense. Although Bangkok is different. Samui and Bangkok are two separate countries. Even the language is different, slightly. And that was very comfortable. Hong Kong, Korea, Japan, China, they are a lot about the brands. They are a lot about the outside, superficial values. Which school did you graduate from? What brand watch do you wear? What bag do you carry with you? What car do you drive? Aha, you drive that car, that means you got no money, so no purpose of making a relationship with you if I can't get anything out of it. And people are very much, you know, in Korea, middle school children, I was shocked by this, ask each other how many square meters is their apartment. Not to mention the size of the screen on the smartphone or the area that they live in, or what car their daddy drives, but the square meters of their apartment. And it's not meters, it's pyong, but I think in Thailand, children don't even know what a square meter pyong is. They wouldn't know. Many people do not know how big their house is. And they still sleep in the same room, although they own half the mountain from Samui. They would still live in a little modest house, just enough for their family, all sleeping, mother, father and children in the same room. Yes, maybe it's a little bit extreme, you would want your own bedroom, but you should see what sort of villas foreigners build here. Wow, big. And then you ask the Thais, how many people live there? It's like, oh, just two, a retired couple. Why do they need 3 floors? Well, they like a big house and a huge swimming pool, enough to make a school. But yeah, greed and people wanting too much. And here it's still very much stick to the principle of enough, the Thai philosophy that I like. And I started to feel very comfortable with it. After Korea, it was hard to switch, looking at cars and knowing the value. And then I noticed that like I told you with that Miss Universe Thai lady, she never made it to become a Miss Universe, but she was the candidate. She participated some years ago. Now she has hotels and resorts and lots of houses on Samui and land. She drives a really shitty, crappy car that when I saw the car, I felt like, wow, that thing still goes. She must be really poor. She can't afford a car. And I saw all her property, and indeed, she can afford any car she likes. She has 2 collectibles in her garage, a nice Mustang and whatever else the other car was, and collectible BMW old motorbikes. Beautiful in supreme condition. Does she drive that? No. That's for display. That's too much show off, too much boasting, too much into kind of interfering with other people's life. You know, it's like, whoa, that car, I know that car, that's her car, and people talk about it. Well, what she drives is something I wouldn't want to drive ever in my life, but it shows you how she is modest and not really showing off and being comfortable with what she has. Also, her cell phone. I think in Korea you could sell it as an antique because nobody remembers phones like that. They're small and they still got like buttons that you press, not on the screen. Whoa. And here they still lock their house with a physical key. After 11 years of life in Korea, when I went to Switzerland and I had to use the key again, it was such an interesting feeling. You have a key. You have a key to open your house door. You don't put your fingerprint on the lock, not even a PIN code, but a key, a physical key, and you can lose it somehow, and just so strange. And car keys as well. You open your car with a car key, turning in the lock. It's not a card, and it's not a little box that you place in the car. You have to insert it into the car to start the car. Maybe you can relate to this, but to me it was like going back in time more than 10 years when people still used keys and keys to start the car. And in Thailand it's the same, you know. There's a key, and to start the car it's also a key. Although you open it with a button still, but it's not a button when you push the start. Strange, right? I find it strange too. Okay, what else do I like about Thai people? You said that you like long videos. Was it not you who said that? No, then it was you who said that. Okay. How can I talk to many people at once? When I hear something from us, I say you. And don't feel excluded when I mention you, although you did not send an email saying that you like long videos. It must have been somebody else from us. But I'm still talking to you. And if it clashes with your opinion, if you think 6-minute videos, quickly rushing through a certain topic and finishing it off is better, then maybe you should send me an email saying that short videos are better. And then I will somehow get really confused and make one short, one long one, so that you can watch them selectively. I can't think of what I like about Thai people now, but what I don't like them is that they are very unreliable and do not know how to plan. And that comes naturally because of the climate. You know, there's fish in the waters and rice on the fields, like they say. Why plan? You don't need to plan. There will be no winter. You don't have to make pickled cabbage and whatever else for winter. You don't have to freeze vegetables. There will be plenty. There will be tomorrow, and there will be in a month or 2 or 3. And you can always go to the forest and get a banana from the tree if you feel hungry. So this relaxed lifestyle is very much in tune with my inner self. I like that. I don't like to worry about the future too much. Doesn't mean I don't plan at all. Oh, but don't worry about it. Planning and worrying is very different. Russian people have harsh winters, and there is a lot to do in the summer to prepare for the winter, a lot to do in the fall to prepare for the winter as well. It's all about preparation, it's all about planning and saving. And that is not freedom, that is not enjoying life, that is always preparing for some hardship. And how can you look forward to hardship? And when I was little in Ukraine, I remember we had an underground storage. It's like a fridge. When you go underground, the climate is really hot. It's like 42 degrees in the summer, and down underground it's still really cold, like a fridge. And we would have all sorts of pickled cherries and apricots for the winter to come. And all it was like picking the fruit and drying them for the winter, and a lot made for the winter, for the autumn, for the hard times, for the times when there are no vitamins. In Thailand you don't have that, and you don't have that mentality either. They don't save. And I'm talking about the majority. Of course there are people who plan and save, but most do not. It's kind of living a one-day life. Like a butterfly. Today is good. Oh, tomorrow is also going to be good, because it's been really good for the past 30 years. So what is there to worry about? Nice. That communicates in interaction with people. When something happens, there is no whoa, there's no stress. There's like, oh, that happened. Okay. And it also resonates with my philosophy. Buddhism and what I believe in is very close. And I guess that has a lot to do with life in the Korean Buddhist temple. Although this Buddhism is different from that Buddhism, still there's a lot in common. And although I'm not religious, I like the philosophy. And it's very close to my philosophy. And what I say here is probably somewhere in some of the sutras as well. Not today, but some of the things, because somehow it all feels like I've heard it somewhere, and it must be the truth. And you see it in nature, you see the evidence in the teachings of the monks, you see evidence in life and your own practical experience. What evidence am I talking about? Take care of the other person before you talk to them about something, what I told you about yesterday. Have you eaten? Or you haven't? Okay, I'm not going to talk to you about any serious subject, because if you're not fulfilled and happy, I can't really bother you with any other problems. We're going to take care of you first, feed you, then you're happy, then I'm going to talk to you about certain subject which is a bit more serious. Now, would that be somewhere in Buddhist teachings? Probably not in that form, but it'd be there in a form of saying, treat other people like you would want to be treated, because it all comes back to you, you make your karma. Okay, that makes more sense, but it's basically the same thing, right? And I'm sure in Christianity there would be something saying that if you treat others like you want to be treated yourself, you're going to be happy. There's only one truth, but many books, many words expressing it differently. Getting way too philosophical. It's breakfast time. Okay, bye-bye.